Welcome to Hypnos Cosmos. Tonight, let the universe carry you gently into sleep. Take a slow breath and let it go. Let your shoulders soften and your eyes grow heavy, and the weight of the day begin to melt away. There is nothing you need to do now. Know where you need to be. For the next little while, you can simply rest here, in the quiet, and let your mind drift out among the stars. Tonight, we are going to take a journey unlike any other. Not across space, but across time. We are going to travel forward, gently, into the deep and distant future of the universe, all the way to its final, quiet ending. Do not worry. It is a soft and peaceful place, that ending, and the road there is long, and calm, and full of wonder. You have only to lie still, and breathe, and let the ages drift past you like slow clouds, while the cosmos winds slowly down toward its rest, and you drift slowly down toward yours. So settle in. Make yourself warm and comfortable, and let the world around you grow dim and far away. The universe has been turning for a very long time, and it will keep turning long after tonight. And for these next few hours, you can let it carry you, quietly, all the way to the end of everything, and back again into sleep. Let us begin where we are. Tonight. Now. In what may be remembered, if anything is ever remembered, as the bright morning of the universe. For we live in an age of light. Look up on any clear night, and the sky is scattered with stars, thousands of them, and beyond them, hidden in the dark, uncountable billions more. Our own galaxy alone holds hundreds of billions of suns, turning slowly in a great bright wheel. And beyond it drift billions upon billions of other galaxies, each one a city of stars, filling the whole vast dark with a soft and steady glow. The universe, right now, is full of fire, full of warmth, full of light. And it is full beyond all imagining. Let the numbers wash over you gently, not to be counted, but simply to be felt. Our own galaxy, the Milky Way, holds somewhere between 1 and 400 billion stars, turning together in a slow bright wheel 100,000 light-years across, so vast that light itself, the fastest thing there is, takes 100,000 years merely to cross from one side to the other. And our galaxy is only one. Beyond it, scattered across the deep, there are not hundreds, not thousands, not millions, but hundreds of billions of other galaxies, perhaps as many as 2 trillion of them, each one holding its own hundreds of billions of stars. The number of stars in the observable universe is so large that if you tried to count them, one every second, you would not finish in the entire present age of the cosmos. There are more stars in the sky than there are grains of sand on every beach and in every desert on the whole of the earth. Many, many more. And around a great many of those stars turn worlds, planets beyond counting, more planets than there are stars, scattered across the dark in numbers that defy all sense. Worlds of fire and worlds of ice, worlds wrapped in storms, worlds with rings and worlds with many moons, and here and there, perhaps, worlds like our own, warm and blue and gentle, turning quietly beneath their suns. It is a cosmos of staggering abundance, of almost reckless generosity, pouring out stars and worlds and light without measure, filling every corner of the dark with fire and possibility. This is the universe you were born into. Not a small one. Not a poor one. The richest, fullest, most luminous universe there has ever been or will ever be, brimming over with more light and more worlds than any mind could ever hold. And all of it is there right now, tonight, turning quietly in the dark above you, whether you can see it or not. Above the roof, above the clouds, above the thin blue skin of the sky, it is all there, the whole vast blazing abundance of it, wheeling slowly through the night while you lie here, warm and safe and small beneath it. There is a deep comfort in that, if you let it settle over you. You are held within something unimaginably vast, and unimaginably beautiful, and unimaginably full. You are not adrift in an empty void. You are cradled in a cosmos overflowing with light, a single small warm life beneath a sky of countless suns, held in the great bright abundance of the age of light. And it will be there still when you wake. And there still, long after. Turning, and shining, and pouring out its light, patient and generous and vast, for ages and ages beyond all counting. You can rest easy beneath a sky so full. It is in no danger of going dark tonight. It is easy to imagine that it has always been this way, and always will be. That the stars are eternal. That the sky we see tonight is simply how the universe is, and how it will forever remain. But that is not so. The bright sky above you is not the universe's permanent state. It is a passing season. A brief and glorious spring, in a story far longer than the mind can hold. And we are lucky, unimaginably lucky, to be alive during it. To open our eyes in the age of starlight, and to see the cosmos while it still burns. Astronomers have a name for the age we live in. They call it the stelliferous era. The age of stars. It began not long, in cosmic terms, after the universe itself was born, when the first suns kindled in the dark. And it is still going on now, all around us, in every galaxy, in every glowing cloud where new stars are being born. This is the era of light, and we are living in the heart of it. And if the universe is to have an ending, then it must, first, have had a beginning. And so it did. For the cosmos was not always here. It had a dawn of its own, long ago, a beginning as gentle to contemplate as the ending toward which it moves. Everything that exists, all the stars and galaxies, all the space between them, all the matter and all the light, was once gathered together in a state unimaginably hot, and dense, and small. And then, in the first moment of time, it began to expand, to unfold, to cool. We call that beginning the Big Bang, though it was not truly an explosion in the ordinary sense, and there was no bang, for there was as yet nothing to carry a sound, and no space outside it for it to expand into. It was, rather, the sudden blossoming of space and time themselves, the beginning of everything, all at once, everywhere. In the very first instance, the universe was a formless sea of pure energy, far too hot for any atom, or any star, or any solid thing to exist. But it was expanding, and as it expanded, it cooled, the way a gas cools as it spreads. And as it cooled, the first simple particles condensed out of the fire, and then the first simple atoms, the lightest ones, hydrogen and helium, filling all of space with a vast, dim, formless fog. For a long while there were no stars at all. The universe was dark, a great expanding cloud of gas, cooling slowly in the black. Astronomers sometimes call this the cosmic dark ages, the long quiet time before the first light, when the universe waited, formless and unlit, for its stars to be born. And then, gently, gravity went to work. In the great dim fog, here and there, the gas was very slightly thicker, very slightly denser, and gravity gathered those thicker places slowly together, pulling the gas inward, packing it tighter, warming it as it fell. And in the hearts of those gathering clouds, the pressure and the heat climbed higher and higher, until at last, in one shining moment, deep inside the densest of them, the fire caught. The first star kindled in the dark. And the long night of the cosmic dark ages ended, as the very first light broke across the universe, and the age of stars began. Imagine that first light. That first star, blazing alone in a universe that had never known a star before, casting the very first shadows, throwing the first warmth out into a cold that had been unbroken since the beginning of time. And then more and more, kindling across the dark, gathering into the first small galaxies, filling the young universe with a light that has never since gone out. Everything that has happened since, every world, every living thing, every warm night and every gentle dream, descends from that first breaking of the light. We are the distant children of that first dawn. And we are living, still, in the long bright day that it began. So the universe has a shape and a story, from its dawn to its dusk. A beginning in fire and darkness, a blossoming into light, a long bright noon of stars and worlds, and then, so very far ahead, a slow and gentle fading back into the dark. And tonight, from our place in the heart of the story, in the warm bright middle of the age of light, we can look both ways along it. Back, to the first kindling of the stars. And forward, to their final, distant fading. It is a story so vast that we ourselves are smaller within it than a single word is within a great long book. And yet we are the part of the story that can read itself. The part that can look up, and wonder, and follow the whole long tale from its beginning to its end. That is no small thing. That may, in truth, be the most remarkable thing in all the universe. But for now, let us set the beginning aside, and turn our faces toward the far end of the tale. This is the era of light, and we are living in the heart of it. And every light, however bright, however patient, must in the fullness of time burn down. But even now, in this bright morning, the first faint signs of evening have already begun. For the universe, like everything within it, is slowly changing. Slowly cooling. Slowly using up the fuel that keeps its fires burning. And though it will take a span of time so vast it makes the age of the Earth seem like a single breath, the stars, one by one, and then all together, will eventually begin to go out. Tonight, we are going to watch them go. Gently. Slowly. Across ages beyond ages. And we are going to follow the universe all the way down into its long, cool, quiet night, and find, waiting there at the very end, a peace as deep and as soft as the sleep that is coming for you now. But first, let us begin close to home. With a single star. Our own. The sun has been shining for about 4.5 billion years. It rose, long ago, out of a great cloud of gas and dust, and it has been burning steadily ever since, turning hydrogen into helium in its blazing heart, pouring out the light and warmth that has made everything you have ever known possible. Every sunrise you have ever seen, every warm afternoon, every green and growing thing, every breath of every creature that has ever lived on Earth, all of it, paid for by the quiet, patient fire of that one ordinary star. And the sun is not finished. It has, in fact, only lived about half of its life. For another 5 billion years or so, it will go on shining much as it does now, calm and golden and steady, warming its small family of worlds. That is a comforting thought to rest on. The sun is in no hurry. Its light will fall on this world for longer than the world has yet existed. Whatever comes, it will not come soon. But the sun will change. Slowly, over those coming billions of years, it will grow gradually brighter and warmer, as the fire in its core burns hotter. And then, in the far future, when at last it begins to run low on the hydrogen fuel it has burned so patiently for so long, it will begin the slow and beautiful transformation into its final form. As its core contracts and heats, the outer layers of the sun will begin to swell. It will grow, and redden, and cool at its surface, expanding outward, ballooning slowly into what astronomers call a red giant. It will become vast, hundreds of times larger than it is today, a great swollen ember filling much of the sky. Its light will turn deep and rich and red. And it will grow so large that it will swallow the innermost planets whole, reaching outward, perhaps, as far as the orbit of the Earth itself. It sounds like a violent thing, and yet it will happen so slowly, across such an enormous span of time, that from moment to moment nothing would seem to be happening at all. Just a star, very gradually, over millions of years, growing older, and larger, and redder, the way an ember settles and glows in the last hours of a fire. And what of the Earth, through all of this? What becomes of our own small world, as its star swells and reddens above it? That, too, is a slow and gentle story, though a wistful one. Long before the sun becomes a red giant, in fact, its steady brightening will already have warmed the Earth beyond what living things can bear. In 1 billion years or so, the oceans will slowly rise as vapor into the sky, and the seas will thin, and the world will grow warm and dry and still. The Earth will not be destroyed. It will simply, slowly, change, the way everything changes in time, becoming a quiet desert world beneath a brightening sun, its long chapter of green and living things drawn gently to a close. And then, in the far age when the sun swells at last into its red giant fullness, the Earth, if it still remains, will find its star grown vast and red and enormous overhead, filling half the sky, its light no longer golden but a deep and sullen crimson. The seas will be long gone by then, the air burned away, the surface warmed to a soft glow. And whether the swelling sun reaches out far enough to swallow the Earth entirely, or whether our world survives, scorched and bare, circling just beyond its reach, we do not yet know for certain. But either way, the Earth's long day will be over, and its story finished, and it will have returned, one way or another, to the same star that gave it birth. There is no need to grieve for that far and distant ending. It lies billions of years ahead, past spans of time so vast that all of human history, every empire and every song and every life that has ever been lived, is only the thinnest sliver at the very beginning of it. The Earth has a long, long day still ahead of it before that evening comes. And there is a kind of gentle rightness in a world returning, at the last, to the star that made it. The Earth was born from the same cloud of gas and dust that became the sun, gathered from the leftovers of its making. And in the end, it may return to it, its atoms folded back into the star, the child gathered home again into the parent, after a life of some 10 billion turning years. That is not a tragedy. That is a circle, closing softly, the way all things close, in the fullness of time. But we have wandered ahead of ourselves, into the fate of a single world. Let us return to the sun itself, and watch it finish its long transformation. Just a star, very gradually, over millions of years, growing older, and larger, and redder, the way an ember settles and glows in the last hours of a fire. And then, when the red giant has burned through the last of its usable fuel, it will let go of its outer layers entirely. Gently. Softly. It will breathe them out into space, shell after glowing shell, in a slow and luminous exhalation that will spread across the surrounding dark. For a few tens of thousands of years, our dying sun will be wrapped in a vast and delicate cloud of its own making, glowing in soft rings and ribbons of color, a thing so beautiful that astronomers, when they see other stars do it, call these clouds by a gentle and misleading name: planetary nebulae. Some of the loveliest objects in all the sky. That is how our sun will mark its ending. Not with a bang, but with a slow, glowing sigh, spreading its substance out into the night. And at the center of that fading cloud, all that will be left of the sun is its bare, exhausted core. A small, dense, intensely hot ember, no larger than the Earth, but holding within it much of the mass of a star. This is a white dwarf. And it is what our sun will become, in the end. Not gone, exactly. Not destroyed. Just changed. A tiny, glowing coal, all that remains of the great fire that once warmed our world. And there, as a white dwarf, the sun will begin the longest and quietest phase of its existence. For a white dwarf makes no new light of its own. It simply glows with the leftover heat of a lifetime of burning, like a poker pulled from the fire, shining brightly at first, and then, ever so slowly, cooling. It will fade from white, to yellow, to orange, to a deep and sullen red, across billions upon billions of years, giving up its warmth to the cold of space 1 degree at a time. And eventually, in a future almost too distant to imagine, it will cool completely, and its light will go out, and it will become a black dwarf. A cold, dark, dead ember, drifting silently through space, invisible against the black. But that is very far ahead. And by the time our sun grows cold, the whole universe around it will have changed beyond all recognition. So let us leave the sun to its long, slow fading, and lift our eyes, now, to the wider sky. For what happens to our star will happen, in its own way, to all the stars. And the story of how the universe ends is, above all, the story of how the light runs out. Look out, now, past our own galaxy, into the great dark ocean between the stars, where the other galaxies drift. There are billions of them out there, scattered across the deep, each one turning slowly, each one holding its own billions of suns. And here is one of the strangest and most beautiful facts we have ever learned about the universe. Those galaxies are all moving away from us. And from each other. And not because they are flying apart through space, but because space itself, the emptiness between them, is quietly, endlessly, growing. The universe is expanding. It has been expanding since the very beginning, since it first burst into being long ago. And every year, every day, every moment, the distances between the galaxies grow a little wider. The great dark spaces open, slowly, like a breath being drawn in that never quite ends. And in recent times, astronomers have discovered something even stranger. This expansion is not slowing down, as you might expect, as gravity tries gently to pull everything back together. It is speeding up. Some faint and mysterious pressure woven into the emptiness itself, is pushing the universe apart, faster and faster, and no one yet fully understands what it is. We have given it a name, so that we may speak of it. We call it dark energy. But the name is only a name. The thing itself remains one of the deepest mysteries there is. And this quiet, accelerating expansion shapes the whole far future of the cosmos. For if it continues, as it seems it will, then the galaxies will drift ever farther apart, faster and faster, across the ages to come. And one by one, in the deep future, they will recede so far, and so quickly, that their light will no longer be able to reach us at all. They will slip, gently, over a kind of horizon, beyond which nothing can ever return, and simply vanish from view. Not with any violence. Not with any sound. They will just grow dimmer, and redder, and fainter, and at last fade silently into the dark, as the widening emptiness carries them forever out of sight. Imagine that. Imagine a night sky in the far, far future. A creature on some distant world, gazing up, as you are resting now, into the dark. And the sky above them is nearly empty. All the other galaxies, all those billions of distant cities of light that fill our own sky tonight, gone. Carried away over the horizon of the expanding universe, one by one, until only their own galaxy remains, alone in an ocean of perfect black. They would have no way of knowing that the universe was ever full of light. No way of seeing that it was once a bright and crowded place. To them, the cosmos would seem to be a single island of stars, floating in an infinite and empty sea. We are fortunate, then, in more ways than one. Not only do we live in the age of stars, but we live early enough within it that the sky is still full. That the light of distant galaxies can still reach us across the dark. That we can still look up and see how vast, and how crowded, and how luminous the universe truly is. In the deep future, that knowledge would be gone, carried away with the vanishing light. We are among the last who will ever see the universe as it really is. And there is something precious in that. Something worth holding gently, as you lie here in the dark, looking up in your mind at a sky still brimming with far-off fire. And there is one more light in the sky, the oldest light of all, that the far future will also take away. For all around us, in every direction, filling the whole of space, there is a faint and gentle glow left over from the very beginning of the universe. It is the afterglow of the Big Bang itself, the cooled and softened light of that first fierce fire, still drifting through the cosmos after all these billions of years. We cannot see it with our eyes, for it has stretched and cooled over the ages into a whisper far too faint and soft for sight. But it is there, everywhere, a gentle warmth in the dark, the fading heat of creation, the oldest thing there is to see. Astronomers call it the cosmic microwave background, and it is a kind of baby picture of the universe, a snapshot of the cosmos as it was when it was very young, glowing softly all around us to this day. But it, too, is fading. As the universe expands, that ancient glow stretches ever thinner, and cools ever further, sliding slowly toward absolute silence. And in the deep future, it will have faded so far as to be, for all purposes, entirely gone. The last trace of the beginning, erased at last by the long expansion, until no sign remains anywhere in the cosmos that it ever began in fire at all. A universe that has forgotten its own dawn. That is another of the quiet losses the far future holds. Not a violent one. Just a slow forgetting, as the oldest light grows too faint, at last, even to whisper. It is a strange and moving thought, that the memory of the beginning and the coming of the end should meet like this, in the fading of a light. That the same slow expansion which carries the universe toward its final stillness is also, gently, wiping away the last glow of its birth. As though the cosmos, in growing old, were slowly closing the book of its own long story, page by page, light by light, until at last nothing is left to read at all. But we are here now, while the book is still open. While the oldest light still glows, faint and warm, in every corner of the sky. While the beginning can still be seen, and the middle still burns bright, and the end is still only a distant and gentle rumor. We live in the one brief age when the whole story is still legible, from its first word to its last. And that, too, is a gift, and a rare one, to be treasured on a quiet night like this. And yet, before our own galaxy is left alone in the widening dark, it has one last great meeting to keep. For not every galaxy is rushing away from us. Our nearest large neighbor, the great spiral galaxy of Andromeda, a wheel of 1 trillion stars, is not receding at all. It is drifting slowly toward us, falling gently across the gulf between us, drawn by the patient pull of gravity. And in a few billion years, about the time our sun begins to swell into its red old age, the two great galaxies will meet. Do not imagine a crash, or a collision, or any violence at all. Galaxies are mostly empty space, vast and sparse, their stars separated by distances so enormous that when two galaxies pass through one another, hardly a single star strikes another. Instead, the two great spirals will drift into each other slowly, over hundreds of millions of years, their shapes bending and stretching under each other's gravity, their spiral arms unwinding and streaming out into long graceful ribbons of stars across the dark. They will pass through one another, and draw apart, and fall back together again, dancing slowly across the ages, until at last they merge into a single great galaxy, larger than either was alone. Some have already given this future galaxy a name, a gentle blending of the two old ones. They call it Milky Way. If any eyes remain on any world to see it, the sky of that far age will be a wonder beyond anything we know. Two galaxies filling the heavens, their bright cores blazing, their arms sweeping across the dark in vast luminous arcs, slowly turning, over spans of time so long that no single creature could ever watch the dance complete. It would look, from night to night, perfectly still, a frozen glory hanging in the sky. And only across millions of years would the great shapes shift and merge and settle, in the slowest and most magnificent movement in all of nature. And our own sun, if it still shines then, and the earth, if it still turns, will be swept up gently in that dance, carried to some new place within the merged galaxy, perhaps flung far out into the quiet outskirts, perhaps drawn nearer to the bright and crowded core. But wherever it goes, it will go softly, drifting on the slow tides of gravity, never colliding, never harmed, simply rearranged, the way leaves are rearranged by a slow autumn wind. That is how galaxies meet. Not with fury, but with a vast and patient grace, across spans of time so long that the meeting itself becomes a kind of stillness. And once the two have become one, once Milky Way has settled into its new and final shape, our galaxy's long solitude will truly begin. For by then, the accelerating expansion of the universe will have carried all the other galaxies away, over the horizon, out of sight forever. And Milky Way will hang alone in an ocean of empty dark, a single island of light in an infinite and silent sea, with nothing beyond it but the black. It will be the last great gathering of stars our region of the universe will ever know. And within it, sheltered from the emptiness outside, the long slow twilight of the stars will quietly unfold. But let us go on. Let us follow the galaxies as they drift apart, and see what becomes of the stars within them. For inside each galaxy, cut off in time from all the others, the long slow business of making and unmaking stars continues. And it, too, is winding gradually down. For stars are not eternal, and they are not endlessly renewed. Each galaxy was born with a great supply of gas, the raw material from which stars are made, and across the ages it spends that gas, cloud by cloud, star by star, and slowly it runs low. Every time a new star kindles in the dark, a little more of the galaxy's fuel is used up. And though dying stars return some of their substance to the void, to be gathered again into new suns, a little is always lost, locked away forever in dead embers and drifting dust. And so, across time, the great fire of star formation burns lower. Fewer new stars are born with each passing age. The nurseries where suns are made grow quiet, one by one. And the galaxies, slowly, begin to dim. This has already begun. The universe is forming stars far more slowly now than it did in its bright and furious youth. The peak of star birth is long behind us. We live, in truth, in the fading afternoon of the age of light, when the greatest fires have already been lit, and the sky, though still glorious, has passed its brightest hour. For the universe was far more furious in its youth than it is today. Billions of years ago, when the cosmos was young, the galaxies blazed with a fire we can scarcely imagine now. Gas was plentiful then, and stars were being born in great sweeping storms, whole galaxies lighting up at once with the birth of countless suns. And in the hearts of the young galaxies, the great black holes were feeding, gorging themselves on the abundant gas that fell into them, and as that gas spiraled down toward the darkness, it heated and blazed with such ferocity that it outshone entire galaxies. We call those blazing hearts quasars, and they are among the brightest things the universe has ever made, single points of light so brilliant that we can see them across almost the entire breadth of the cosmos, shining to us from the deep past, from a time when the universe was young and wild and full of fire. Those days are gone now. The quasars have mostly gone quiet, their gas used up, their great black holes grown calm and still, no longer feeding, no longer blazing, only waiting in the dark. The storms of star birth have gentled. The wild, furious youth of the cosmos has passed, as all youth passes, into something calmer, and steadier, and slower. And that is where we live. Not in the fury of the dawn, but in the long calm afternoon that follows, when the fires still burn but no longer rage, when the sky is bright but no longer wild, when the universe has settled into the long, steady, golden middle of its life. There is a gentleness in that, too, worth resting on. We did not come too early, into the fury and the chaos of the young cosmos, when everything was violent and unformed. Nor did we come too late, into the cold and quiet of the fading dark. We came in the calm bright middle, in the temperate golden afternoon of the universe, when things have settled enough for worlds to form and life to take hold and minds to wake and wonder, but while there is still light enough, and warmth enough, and time enough, to do all of that in peace. It is, in every way, the gentlest season of the whole long year of the cosmos. And it is the one we were given. The calm afternoon of everything, warm and golden and unhurried, sloping slowly, so very slowly, toward evening. And evenings are not sad. An evening is the loveliest part of the day, when the harsh bright light has softened into gold, when the heat of noon has gentled into warmth, when everything grows quiet and calm and beautiful, and turns, at last, toward rest. We live in the long golden evening of the universe. And there is nowhere better, and no time better, to lie down, and grow quiet, and let the soft light fade, and drift, at last, toward sleep. It will not seem so to us, of course. On the scale of a human life, or 10,000 human lives, nothing at all appears to change. But on the scale of the cosmos, the tide has already turned. The gas is running low. The last generations of stars are being born. But before we follow the stars down into their long twilight, let us pause a moment over the greatest of them, and the most dramatic way a star can die. For not every star fades quietly, as our sun will, breathing out its soft glowing shells and settling into a small white ember. The largest stars, the great blue-white giants, many times the mass of the sun, end their lives in a very different way. They end them in a blaze that outshines whole galaxies. They end them in a supernova. A massive star lives fast, and burns furiously. Where the sun sips its fuel across billions of years, a great star devours its own in only a few million, blazing with a ferocious light. And when at last its core runs out of fuel to burn, there is nothing left to hold it up against its own tremendous weight. In a single instant, in less time than it takes to draw a breath, the core collapses, falling inward upon itself, and then rebounds in a titanic explosion that tears the star apart and floods the surrounding space with light and fury. For a few brief weeks, a single dying star can shine as brightly as 100 billion ordinary suns, outshining the entire galaxy that holds it, a single point of unimaginable brilliance blazing in the dark. And it is in these great explosions that some of the most precious things in the universe are made. For the gentle fusion in the hearts of ordinary stars can only build the lighter elements. But in the searing heat and crushing pressure of a supernova, heavier things are forged. The iron in your blood. The calcium in your bones. The gold in a wedding ring, the silver, the copper, the oxygen you are breathing at this very moment, all of it was made, long ago, in the death throes of massive stars, and scattered out across space to drift among the clouds of gas, and gather, in time, into new stars, new worlds, and new living things. You are, quite literally, made of the ashes of ancient explosions. The atoms that make up your body were born in the hearts of dying stars, and flung out into the dark, and gathered here, across billions of years, into you. When you look up at the sky, you are looking at your own origin. And when a star explodes, somewhere out in the deep, it is only doing again what was once done to make you. And when the light of the supernova at last fades, and the scattered gas drifts away, something strange and small is often left behind. For the collapsed core of the great star does not always vanish. Sometimes it survives, crushed down by the force of the collapse into an object unlike anything in ordinary experience. If the star was large, the core may be squeezed into a neutron star, a sphere no wider than a city, yet holding more mass than the Sun, so dense that a single spoonful of it would weigh as much as a mountain. These strange dense corpses spin, sometimes hundreds of times a second, sweeping beams of light across the dark like cosmic lighthouses, and they will go on spinning, slowly winding down, for ages beyond ages, long after the explosion that made them has been forgotten. And if the dying star was greater still, then not even the neutron star can hold. The core collapses further and further, past every limit, until it disappears entirely from the ordinary universe, leaving behind only its gravity, wrapped around a pit of darkness from which not even light can escape. It leaves behind a black hole. And so the greatest stars, in dying, become the darkest things there are, the very objects that will one day be the last inhabitants of the universe, waiting patiently in the dark long after every other light has failed. Even in the age of stars, the seeds of the far future are already being sown. Every massive star that dies is laying down, in its collapse, one more of the black holes that will one day inherit the cosmos. There is a kind of poetry in it, is there not? The brightest stars make the darkest ends. The most brilliant lights leave behind the deepest shadows. And out of their violent deaths come both the atoms of life and the seeds of the final darkness, scattered together across the same dark, in the same bright moment of ending. The universe wastes nothing. Even in death, its stars are busy making the future, the good and the dark of it alike, sowing the dark with the stuff of worlds and the stuff of oblivion, all at once. But such great stars are rare, and they die young, and long before the far future they will all be gone, their explosions finished, their neutron stars and black holes scattered and cooling in the dark. It is the small, patient, faithful stars that will keep the last long watch of the age of light. And so we come, gently, to the twilight of the stars. But the twilight is long. Wonderfully, mercifully long. For not all stars burn at the same pace. The great bright ones, the massive blue-white giants, live fast and die young, blazing through their fuel in only a few million years before they explode and are gone. Our own Sun, a middling star, takes a more patient 10 or 12 billion years to run its course. But the smallest stars, the faint red dwarfs, are the most patient of all. And they are the key to just how long the age of light will last. Red dwarfs are the most common stars in the universe. For every star like our Sun, there are many of these small, cool, dim red embers, burning quietly away in the dark. They are so faint that not a single one is visible to the naked eye, though they are scattered in their billions all around us. And because they are so small, they burn their fuel with an almost unbelievable thrift. They hoard it. They sip it, slowly, across spans of time that dwarf even the long life of the Sun. A red dwarf does not live for billions of years. It lives for trillions. Some of them will go on shining, steady and red and calm, for 10 trillion years, or more. 100 times longer than the entire age of the universe so far. Think of that, softly, as you lie here. The universe is not yet 14 billion years old. And the smallest stars will still be burning, patiently, quietly, when it is 1,000 times older than that. Long after our sun has faded to a cold black cinder. Long after the last great galaxies have drifted apart. Long after every bright and famous star we know has died, these small red embers will still be glowing in the dark, keeping the last watch of the age of light. They are the true survivors. The last candles. And they will burn for so long that the mind simply cannot hold the number. And it is worth pausing here, in the quiet, to feel just how vast these spans of time truly are, for they are the true landscape of this whole long journey, and there is a strange comfort in their very enormity. We speak of billions of years, and trillions, and numbers far beyond even those, and the words slip past so easily. But the mind cannot really hold them, and it is soothing, in a way, to try, and to feel oneself grow small and sleepy against their vastness. Consider. A single million years is already far beyond anything a human life can grasp. All of recorded history, every city ever built, every word ever written, spans only a few thousand years, the merest eye blink. Stretch that 1,000 times over, and you have 1,000,000 years, longer than there have been creatures anything like us walking the earth. Now stretch that 1,000 times again, and you have 1,000,000,000 years, a span in which whole mountain ranges rise and wear away to dust, in which oceans open and close, in which the very continents drift across the face of the world. And the sun will shine for another 5 of those. And the smallest stars will burn for 10,000 of them. But even 10 trillion years, the long life of a red dwarf, is as nothing against what comes after. The dead stars, slowly evaporating, endure for spans written not in billions or trillions, but in numbers with dozens of digits. And the great black holes last longer still, for lengths of time so vast that if every single year were itself as long as the entire present age of the universe, you would still need more years than there are atoms in a world to count them all. These are not numbers, really, in any way the heart can feel. They are more like a kind of darkness. A depth. An ocean of time so deep that all of light and life and history floats upon its very surface, a thin bright film upon an abyss beyond all sounding. And yet, here is the gentle thing. You do not have to cross that ocean. You only have to float upon it, softly, for this one quiet night. All that vastness is not a weight to carry, but a vast calm sea to rest upon, holding you up, cradling you in its enormity. The universe has all the time there is, and more, and it is in no hurry, and neither, tonight, are you. Let the great spans of time stretch out around you, endless and patient and calm, and feel how small and safe you are within them, a single warm moment adrift on an infinite quiet sea, with nowhere to be and nothing to do but drift, and breathe, and rest. There is no fear in numbers so large. They are far too big for fear. Fear is a small and quick and hurried thing, and it cannot survive in spans of time like these. It simply dissolves, and grows quiet, and falls asleep. And so may you, floating here, on the deep and gentle ocean of the ages, while the last stars burn slowly down, so very far away, across the patient dark. But even they cannot burn forever. And here is a curious thing about the very smallest stars. When at last they use up their fuel, they will not swell into red giants, and they will not blow off glowing clouds. They are too small, too cool, for that. Instead, they will simply fade. Very, very slowly, over more ages still, they will grow dimmer, and cooler, and darker, settling gently into the same quiet fate as our own Sunday. They will become white dwarfs, and then, in time, black dwarfs. Cold, dark embers, drifting in a cold and darkening sky. And when the last of the red dwarfs finally cools and dims, the age of light will be over. The stars will have gone out. Not all at once, but one by one, across a span of time so vast that 1 trillion years is only a moment within it. The great fire that began when the first suns kindled in the dark will, at last, have burned itself down to embers. And the universe will enter a new and quieter age. Astronomers call it the Degenerate Era. It is the age that comes after the stars. And in it, the universe will be a very different place from the bright and crowded sky we know tonight. Picture it, gently. There is no starlight now. No suns burning in the dark. The galaxies, those that have not drifted away over the horizon, are no longer bright wheels of fire, but vast, dim, scattered collections of dead and dying things. White dwarfs, slowly cooling. Black dwarfs, already cold. Neutron stars, the strange dense corpses of the greatest suns, spinning silently in the black. And here and there, the deepest darknesses of all, the black holes, waiting patiently at the hearts of the galaxies, and drifting through their outskirts. The Degenerate Era is a realm of remnants. A great museum of the dead, lit by no light at all, turning slowly in the endless dark. And drifting among those dead stars, in unimaginable numbers, are the worlds. For every star that ever lived had its planets, and when the stars die, the planets do not vanish. They remain, circling their cold dead embers, or torn loose to wander alone. Think of them, those countless frozen worlds, in the long dark after the stars. Some still turning faithfully around a cooling white dwarf, bathed in its last dim glow. Some cast adrift entirely, thrown out of their old homes by the slow gravitational dance of a dying galaxy, wandering forever through the empty dark between the dead stars, alone, and lightless, and cold. Rogue worlds, without a sun, drifting through an eternal night. They will be frozen almost beyond imagining, these wandering worlds, their air fallen as snow upon their surfaces, their seas turned to ice miles deep, their skies black and starless. And yet, on some of them, deep beneath the frozen crust, a little warmth may linger still, the last heat of a rocky heart, or the slow warmth of the world's own slow settling. And in that buried warmth, who can say, perhaps a hidden ocean might endure, dark and still and liquid, sealed beneath the ice, holding out against the cold of a universe grown old. Perhaps the very last warm places in all of creation will be these hidden seas, in the hearts of wandering frozen worlds, drifting alone through the dark, long after every star has died. Little pockets of warmth, and of stillness, and perhaps, who knows, of something even gentler, holding on quietly against the great and growing cold. It is a lonely image, and yet a strangely peaceful one. A world adrift in the endless dark, holding a small warmth in its heart, asking nothing, needing nothing, simply drifting, slowly, through the quiet. There is something in it not so very different from you, tonight. A small warm thing, wrapped in the great dark, holding your own quiet heat against the cool of the night, drifting gently towards sleep. And just as those far worlds will drift on, untroubled, through the long dark of the Degenerate Era, so may you drift, untroubled, through the soft dark of this one quiet night, carrying your warmth safely within you, needing nothing from the sky at all. For the dark, you see, is not a fearful thing. We are taught, somewhere long ago, to fear it, but the dark itself is only rest. It is only the absence of the day's bright striving, the great quiet in which all things, at last, lie down. The dark between the stars is the same dark that fills this room, the same dark that waits behind your closing eyes, and it is gentle, and it is patient, and it means you no harm. The whole vast future of the universe is a slow settling into that dark, and it is not a tragedy, and it is not a terror. It is only the cosmos lying down at last to rest, the way you are lying down now. And yet it is not an empty age, nor an entirely dark one. Even here, in the long night after the stars, faint sparks will still flicker now and then. Sometimes, in the crowded hearts of old star clusters, two dead white dwarfs will drift together across the ages, and slowly, slowly, spiral inward, until at last they meet and merge. And when they do, they may briefly reignite, flaring up for a moment in the darkness, a single new star kindled from the ashes of two old ones, burning for a little while before it, too, fades. These will be the last stars. Rare, and scattered, and far between, flickering like the final embers of a fire that has all but gone out, tiny lonely lights in an ocean of dark. And then even they will cease. Somewhere, in some far and distant age, there will be a last star. The very last one. The final light of the final fire in all the universe. Perhaps it will be a small red dwarf, the most patient of all the stars, holding on long after every other has faded, glowing its faint and steady red in a sky gone utterly black around it. Or perhaps it will be one of those rare late sparks, two dead embers merged into one brief final flame, kindled from the last ashes of a cosmos grown old. But whatever it is, there will be a moment, a single quiet moment across the whole vast history of everything, when it is the only light left. When all the other stars have gone out, every one of the uncountable trillions that ever burned, and this single small flame is the last, shining alone, the final ember of the age of light. And then, gently, in its own time, it too will fade. Its fuel will run low, or its warmth will slowly leak away, and it will dim, and cool, and darken, as all the others did before it. And at the moment it goes out, something will end that has been going on since almost the very beginning of the universe. The age of stars will be over. For the first time since that first fire caught in the darkness so long ago, there will be no starlight anywhere in all of creation. The great long day of the cosmos, which began with the kindling of the first star, will end with the fading of the last, and the universe will pass, quietly, and without any ceremony at all, into its long, dark evening. There is no one there to see it, most likely. No eyes to watch the last star fade. It simply happens, softly, in the dark, an ending witnessed by nothing, mourned by nothing, the quietest and most enormous of all endings, the going out of the very last light. And yet there is a strange tenderness in imagining it, from here, from the warm, bright middle of the age of light, where stars are so many and so common that we scarcely think of them at all. That there will be a last one. That the light which fills our sky so generously tonight is not endless, but precious, and numbered, and will one day come down, at the very last, to a single failing flame in the dark. It makes each star we see tonight feel like a gift. Like a small warm miracle, burning now, for us, in the great bright morning, so very long before the last of them will fade. So when you next look up at a sky full of stars, remember, gently, that you are seeing something rare. Not the permanent state of the universe, but its brief and glorious youth. A sky on fire, in the one short season when the fires still burn. And remember that you are here for it, awake and alive in the age of light, under a sky still crowded with suns, so many ages before the last of them goes quietly out. That is a kind of extraordinary good fortune, too large almost to feel. And it is yours, tonight, and every night, for as long as there are stars. Which will be a very, very long time yet. Longer than all of human history, many times over. Longer than the mind can hold. The stars are not going anywhere soon. They will keep their long watch over your sleep, tonight, and tomorrow night, and for numberless nights to come. It is a strange thing to imagine, and yet there is a deep and gentle peace in it. A universe grown quiet. A universe at rest. The frantic fires of youth long spent, the great labor of making and unmaking stars long finished, and everything settling, slowly, into stillness. The degenerate era will last far longer than the age of stars ever did. Longer than you can hold in your mind. And through all of it, the dead suns will drift on, cooling, dimming, silent, in a darkness that only deepens with the passing of the ages. But even this quiet is not the end. For the degenerate era, too, will pass. And to understand how, we must look closer at the very stuff that everything is made of. At matter itself. Because in the deep future, even matter, it seems, may not last forever. Everything you have ever seen or touched, everything in all the worlds and all the stars, is built from tiny particles, gathered together in their countless trillions. At the heart of every atom sits a particle called a proton, and for all of ordinary experience, the proton seems utterly, perfectly stable. It does not decay. It does not fall apart. The protons in your body, in this bed, in the air you are breathing, are almost all as old as the universe itself, and have endured, unchanged, since the very first moments of time. And yet, some of our deepest theories whisper that even the proton may not be truly eternal. That over spans of time so vast they make the trillion-year lives of the red dwarf seem like the blink of an eye, protons themselves may very, very slowly decay. May quietly come undone, dissolving away into fainter and simpler things, into light and lesser particles, until nothing of them remains. We are not certain this happens. We have watched, and waited, and never yet seen a single proton die. But if it does happen at all, it happens so slowly that the numbers defy all imagining. A proton might last, on average, for a length of time written as a 1 followed by more zeros than there are stars in the sky. But in the deep future, there is all the time in the world. There is more time than there are words to name it. And across such unthinkable ages, even the rarest, slowest thing becomes certain. And so, if protons do decay, then in the far reaches of the degenerate era, the dead stars themselves, the cold white dwarfs and the dark black dwarfs and the silent neutron stars, will begin, ever so slowly, to evaporate. Not to burn. Not to explode. Simply to fade away, particle by particle, atom by atom, dissolving gently into faint radiation and drifting dust, across ages beyond ages. The very corpses of the stars will melt away into the dark, until at last they are gone, and nothing solid remains anywhere in the universe at all. Let that settle over you, softly, without fear. It is not a violent ending. It is the gentlest ending imaginable. A slow, quiet dissolving. The universe, across time beyond time, simply letting go of its substance, the way a mist lets go of its shape at dawn, thinning, and fading, and drifting apart into nothing. Everything that was ever built, unbuilt again, so slowly that no moment ever seems to change. And when it is done, when the last of the dead stars has evaporated away, the universe will have entered its next and stranger age. For when all the matter is gone, one kind of thing will still remain. The darkest, and the most patient, and the longest lived of all the universe's children. The black holes. This is the black hole era. And it is a realm almost beyond imagining. There are no stars now, and no planets, and no dead embers, and no dust. There is no ordinary matter left anywhere at all. There is only the vast, cold, expanding dark, stretched now to sizes beyond all comprehension, and drifting within it, few and far between, the black holes. Some are the size of stars, left behind by the greatest suns of the Age of Light. And some are monsters, grown across the ages to the mass of millions or billions of suns, the great black hearts that once sat at the centers of the galaxies, now floating alone in an endless emptiness, their galaxies long since evaporated away around them. They are the last great structures in the universe, the final inhabitants of the dark. And in this age, they reign in perfect silence, across spans of time so enormous that all the ages that came before, the whole age of stars, the whole Degenerate Era, seem together like a single bright instant at the very dawn of things. The black hole era is longer than everything else put together, many times over. It is the universe's long, long night. And what strange and wonderful things they are, these last inhabitants of the dark. A black hole is not a thing, exactly, in the way a star or a world is a thing. It is a place where gravity has grown so strong that space and time themselves are bent beyond all ordinary sense, folded inward so steeply that nothing which falls past a certain edge can ever climb back out again, not even light itself, the fastest thing there is. That edge is called the horizon, and it is not a surface, not a wall, but simply a boundary in space, a point of no return, beyond which all paths lead only inward, only down, only deeper into the dark. Cross it, and the outside universe is lost to you forever. There is no coming back. And time behaves strangely there, at the edge of a black hole, in ways that are soothing to contemplate as you drift toward sleep. For the closer anything comes to that horizon, the more slowly its time seems to run, seen from far away. If you could watch something fall toward a black hole, you would never quite see it cross the edge. You would see it slow, and slow, and slow, its motion growing ever more sluggish, its light growing dimmer and redder, until it seemed to hang there, frozen, at the very brink, held forever in a single endless moment, never quite falling in. Time itself, stretched out at the edge of darkness, until a single instant lasts forever. There is a strange poetry in that. At the edge of the deepest dark, time slows to stillness, and a moment opens out into eternity. And through the long black hole era, these strange places will be all that remains. The great ones, the giants left behind by the galaxies, will drift through the enormous emptiness, so far apart from one another that each is utterly alone, with nothing but black and empty space stretching in every direction for distances that dwarf the entire size of the universe as we know it today. The expansion will have carried everything so far apart, and stretched space so wide, that a black hole might drift for ages beyond ages and never come near another thing at all. They will be the loneliest objects that have ever existed, or ever will. And yet they will not be troubled by their loneliness, for they are only gravity and darkness, patient and unfeeling, keeping their long silent vigil at the bottom of time. It is almost peaceful, is it not, to imagine them there? Vast and dark, and utterly still, hanging in the endless quiet, asking nothing, wanting nothing, simply being, for spans of time beyond all reckoning. There is no striving left in the universe by then, no burning, no making, no urgency of any kind. Only the slow, patient drift of the last dark giants through the endless calm, and the faint, faint whisper of their evaporation, so slow it is scarcely there at all. The whole frantic business of the Age of Light, all the fire and the fury and the making of worlds, has long since given way to this. To stillness. To patience. To rest. The universe, in its great old age, grown quiet and slow and calm, drifting gently through its own long night, in no hurry at all to reach the morning that will never come. And here, at last, we come upon one of the most beautiful and unexpected truths in all of science. Because even the black holes are not eternal. Even they, the darkest and most patient things there are slowly, quietly dying. For a long time, we believed that a black hole was truly forever. That nothing could ever escape it, that it could only grow, swallowing whatever came near and never giving anything back. But then a great physicist, thinking carefully about the strange place where gravity meets the smallest scales of nature, discovered something astonishing. Black holes, he realized, are not perfectly black after all. They glow. Ever so faintly, from the very edge of their darkness, they leak a whisper of light and particles out into space. A slow, dim, patient radiance, so faint it is almost nothing at all. And because of it, a black hole very, very slowly loses its mass. Very slowly, it shrinks. Very slowly, across ages that make everything else seem swift, it evaporates away. We call that faint glow Hawking radiation, after the man who dreamed it into our understanding. And it means that the black holes, too, have an ending written into them. That even they will, in time, give themselves back to the universe, one faint particle at a time, and grow smaller, and dimmer, and at last wink out entirely. But oh, how slowly! The evaporation of a black hole is the slowest process in all of nature. A black hole the mass of a star would take a length of time to evaporate so vast that if you wrote it out, the number of years would have 60 or 70 digits. And the great galactic black holes, the giants, would take vastly, unimaginably longer still, 100 digits, a number with no name, a length of time so far beyond all meaning that the mind simply lets go of it, the way a hand lets go, at last, of something too heavy to hold. Across all of that time, the black holes will hang in the dark, shrinking so slowly that they might as well be still, glowing so faintly that the dark is scarcely troubled by their light. And yet, slowly, surely, they shrink. And here is a curious thing. As a black hole grows smaller, it does not fade more gently. It glows a little brighter, and evaporates a little faster, warming as it shrinks. So that at the very, very end, after ages past all counting, when a black hole has dwindled at last down to almost nothing, it finishes not with a whisper but with a final soft flare. A last quiet burst of light and particles, scattered out into the enormous dark. And then it is gone. The black hole is no more. And a little of the universe's darkness has been given back, at last, as one final, fading gleam. And think, for a moment, of the very last of these. The final black hole, the greatest and most patient of them all, holding on across spans of time so vast that all the ages before it are less than a single heartbeat by comparison. It drifts alone in an emptiness beyond all imagining, in a universe stretched so wide and grown so cold that it is, for all purposes, entirely empty, entirely dark, entirely still. And slowly, slowly, across time without measure, it shrinks. And at the very end, it too begins to glow a little warmer, and shrink a little faster, until at last, in a final soft flash of light, the last black hole in the universe evaporates away, and is gone. That final flare will be the last event that ever happens. The last time anything anywhere changes. The last flicker of light in all of creation. And after it fades, and its faint glow spreads out and thins into the endless dark, there will be nothing left to happen ever again. No stars. No matter. No black holes. No structure of any kind, anywhere, forever. Only the vast, cold, silent dark, spreading endlessly outward, growing colder and emptier with the passing of ages that no longer have anything to mark them. The universe will have finished its long story. The last page will have turned. And a great and perfect stillness will settle over everything, and remain unbroken for all of eternity. It sounds, perhaps, like the loneliest thing imaginable. And yet lie here a moment, in the quiet, and feel whether it truly frightens you. For it is so gentle, that ending. So soft. So utterly without violence or pain. The universe does not die screaming. It does not end in fire or terror. It simply grows quiet, and cool, and still, one fading gleam at a time, until at last it rests, completely, and forever. It is the deepest and most perfect rest there has ever been. The whole cosmos, its long labor finished, its every fire spent, lying down at last in the dark, and being still. There is nothing to fear in it. There is only peace. A peace so vast and so complete that nothing will ever again disturb it. The final, endless, dreamless sleep of everything that ever was. And that same peace, in its own small and gentle way, is waiting for you tonight. Not the ending of the universe, of course, but its faint and lovely echo. The quiet settling of a long day into rest. The soft going out of the day's bright fires. The gentle sinking down into a dark that means no harm, a stillness that asks nothing, a rest as deep and as welcome as the rest that waits at the end of time. You do not need to fear the dark that is coming for you now, any more than you need to fear the dark at the end of everything. Both are only rest. Both are only peace. Both are only the soft and gentle quiet in which all things, at the last, lie down. And so, one by one, across ages beyond all ages, the black holes will die. The small ones first, flaring softly and vanishing. Then the great ones, the giants, holding on across spans of time that beggar all description, until at last, even they come to their ending, and release their final gleam into the dark, and are gone. And when the very last black hole, the greatest and most patient of them all, gives up its last faint flicker of light, something will happen that has never happened before in all the history of the universe. For the first time since the very beginning, there will be nothing left. No stars. No embers. No matter. No black holes. Nothing but the dark, and the faint, cooling glow of the very last light, spreading out, and thinning, and fading, forever, into the cold. And you might wonder, softly, as you drift here, why it must be so. Why the universe cannot simply stay bright and full and warm forever. Why everything, from a star to a candle to a cup of tea left standing, seems always to run down, to cool, to fade, to move from order into disorder, and never the other way around. It is one of the deepest questions there is, and its answer lies at the very heart of why time itself seems to flow in one direction, from past to future, and never back. The answer has to do with a quiet principle that governs everything that happens, everywhere, always. It is this: things tend, always, to spread out, to even out, to move from states that are ordered and concentrated toward states that are jumbled and spread thin. Warmth flows from hot things to cold things, never the reverse. A drop of ink spreads through water and never gathers itself back into a drop. A tower of blocks falls into a scattered heap and never leaps back into a tower. There are simply so many more ways to be jumbled than to be ordered, so many more ways to be spread out than to be gathered, that everything, left to itself, drifts inevitably toward the jumble, toward the spreading, toward the even and the mixed. Scientists have a name for that spreading, that evening out. They call it entropy. And the slow, relentless increase of entropy is, as far as anyone can tell, the very thing that gives time its direction. For that is what the past is. The past is the direction in which things were more ordered, more gathered, more concentrated. And the future is the direction in which they are more spread out, more mixed, more even. When you remember yesterday and not tomorrow, when you watch a moment flow forward and never back, you are feeling, in the deepest way, the slow increase of entropy in the universe. Time flows the way it does because the universe began in an exquisitely ordered, concentrated, low-entropy state, an almost unimaginably smooth and gathered beginning, and has been spreading out, and evening out, and running down, gently, ever since. The whole grand story of the cosmos, the birth and death of stars, the drifting of galaxies, the long slide toward the final stillness, is simply entropy increasing. Is simply the universe spreading out. And the heat death, that far and final stillness, is nothing more than the end of that long spreading. It is the state in which everything has evened out completely, in which there is no more order left to lose, no more warmth left to flow, no more difference left anywhere at all. It is the universe at maximum entropy. Perfectly smooth. Perfectly even. Perfectly spread. And once it arrives there, time itself, in any meaningful sense, will quietly cease, for there will be no more change by which to mark it, no more flow from order to disorder, nothing left to happen. The river of time will not so much stop as simply arrive, at last, at the wide and motionless sea it was always flowing toward. There is something almost peaceful in understanding it this way. The universe is not being destroyed. Nothing is being taken from it by force. It is only, very slowly, relaxing. Spreading out. Settling, like a held breath finally released, like a taut string slowly loosening, like a long day easing at last into evening. Everything that happens, every fire and every life and every turning world, is a small eddy in that great slow settling, a brief and beautiful swirl in the long relaxation of the cosmos toward its rest. And you, tonight, are one of those eddies. A small warm gathering of order, holding yourself together for a little while against the great spreading, and then, in time, softly letting go, and spreading out, and settling, like everything else, into the gentle evenness of rest. This is where the long road leads. This is the ending. Astronomers have given it names, quiet names, for so quiet a thing. The big freeze. The heat death. The final state of the universe, when everything that could happen has happened, when every fire has burned out and every structure has dissolved and every last gleam of light has faded away. And what remains is not a place, exactly, and not a thing. It is only a vast, cold, empty stillness, stretching on forever, growing colder and emptier and stiller with every passing age, and never, ever changing again. To understand it, think of a warm room on a winter's night, with a fire burning in the hearth. The fire is bright, and the room is full of warmth and light and difference, of hot places and cool ones, of glowing coals and dancing shadows. That is the universe now. Full of difference. Full of contrast. Hot stars and cold space, bright galaxies and dark voids, all that energy still flowing from where there is much of it to where there is little, and doing, along the way, all the beautiful work of making worlds and warming them and stirring life into being. But let the fire burn down. Let the coals cool. Let the warmth spread slowly and evenly through the room, until every corner is exactly as cool as every other, and there is no fire anymore, and no cold anymore, only a single, uniform, unchanging chill. Nothing flowing. Nothing glowing. Nothing happening at all. That is the heat death. Not a room grown cold and empty of things, but a universe grown perfectly even, perfectly smooth, with all its differences spent, all its fires balanced out into a single endless lukewarm dark. For it is difference that lets things happen. It is the flow of energy from hot to cold, from more to less, that powers every star and every storm and every heartbeat. And when at last that flow is finished, when everything is spread out perfectly evenly and there is nowhere left for anything to flow, then nothing more can happen ever again. Not because of any wall or any barrier, but simply because there is no difference left to drive it. The universe will not end in fire or in a great final crash. It will end in a stillness so complete that time itself will lose its meaning, for there will be no change by which to measure it. An eternal, silent, featureless calm, going on, and forever. And that, as far as we can tell, is the most likely way that everything ends. Not with violence, not with catastrophe, but with a slow, gentle, endless settling into peace. The universe, at the very last, simply going quiet, and cool, and still, and staying that way, forever and ever, in a rest so deep that nothing will ever disturb it again. There are other possibilities, of course. We do not know the far future for certain, and the cosmos may yet hold surprises. Some have wondered whether the mysterious dark energy that drives the galaxies apart might, in the end, grow stronger and stronger, until it tears not only the galaxies but the stars, and the worlds, and at last the very atoms apart, in a final ending they call the Big Rip. And others have wondered whether the expansion might one day reverse, the whole universe falling slowly back together across the ages, drawing in, and warming, and collapsing at last into a single point, in a mirror image of its beginning and ending called the Big Crunch. But most of what we see suggests a gentler fate than either of these. A long, slow, quiet cooling. A soft and endless winter. The big freeze, and the deep peace of the heat death, waiting patiently at the end of time. And you might think that such an ending is a sad one. That there is something mournful in a universe that fades away to cold and dark and stillness, with nothing left, and nothing more to come. But lie here a moment, in the quiet, and feel whether it is truly sad. For that ending is unimaginably far away. Further than sadness can reach. To arrive there, you would have to travel forward in time past the death of the sun, past the drifting apart of the galaxies, past the last of the red dwarfs, through the whole long degenerate era, through the slow dissolving of all matter, through the entire endless black hole era, and out the far side into ages that have no name. The heat death is not a thing that is happening. It is not even a thing that will happen for a span of time you could ever meaningfully fear. It is simply the far, quiet shore toward which the whole great river of time is flowing, so distant that between here and there lies more wonder, and more beauty, and more life and light and warmth, than could ever be counted or held. And more than that, there is a peace in knowing that the universe has a shape. That it is not a meaningless churning without beginning or end, but a story, with a dawn and a long bright day and a slow and gentle dusk, unfolding across time in its own vast and patient way. Everything that has a story must have an ending. And there is no more sorrow in the ending of the universe than there is in the ending of a beautiful day, or a long and lovely piece of music, or a good night's rest that draws, at last, toward morning. The ending is part of what makes it whole. And now that we have traveled all the way to the end of time, let us turn, gently, and look back at where we began. At the age we live in. Because seen against that whole vast future, our own moment in the universe takes on a light it never had before. We live at the very beginning of things. Not at the middle. Not near the end. At the dawn. If you could take the entire life of the universe, from its first spark to its final cold and silent stillness, and lay it out along a single day, from one midnight to the next, then all of history so far, the whole age of stars, everything that has ever happened or ever will happen while a single sun still burns anywhere in the cosmos, all of it would be over in the first tiny sliver of the very first second after midnight. We are that early. We are living in the first faint moment of the cosmic dawn, when the fires have only just been lit, and the long day of the universe has scarcely begun. And that means the sky we see tonight is a rare and fleeting wonder. There will come a time, in the deep future, when no creature, however wise, could ever learn the things we know so easily just by looking up. When the other galaxies have drifted beyond reach, and the stars have gone out, and the evidence of the universe's bright beginning has faded away into the dark. We live in the one brief season when the cosmos is still full of light, and still young enough to remember its own dawn, and still open enough to be understood. We are here for the good part. For the bright morning. For the age when there are still stars to wish upon, and still a sky full of fire to lift the eyes and stir the heart. Think how easily it might have been otherwise. You might have opened your eyes into the long Degenerate Era, beneath a dark and starless sky, and never known that the universe was once ablaze with light. You might have drifted through the endless black hole era, in a cosmos so empty and so cold that the very idea of a sun would seem a fairy tale. But you did not. You woke, instead, into the age of stars. Into the brief and glorious spring of everything. You are here now, while the fires still burn, while the sky is still full, while there is still warmth, and light, and life, and wonder. Of all the endless ages you might have been born into, you were born into the brightest. That is a gift almost too large to feel. And it is yours, tonight, complete. And there is a soft and gentle comfort, too, in your own smallness against all of this. It can seem, at first, a lonely thought, that you are so very tiny in so vast a cosmos, a single brief life on a single small world, adrift in a universe of 100 billion galaxies, across billions upon billions of years. But lie with it a moment, in the quiet, and feel how it is not lonely at all. Feel, instead, how it sets you free. For if you are so small, and the universe so vast, then how little, truly, can any of the day's worries matter? How gently they loosen their grip, those cares that seemed so heavy just this morning, when you hold them up against the slow turning of the galaxies and the long patient ages of the stars. The things that trouble us are real, and they matter in their own small way, but they are so very small, against all of this, and there is a deep relief in remembering it. The universe has been turning for 14 billion years, and it will turn for countless billions more, and it does not need you to carry it. You may set your small worries down, tonight, in the shadow of something so vast, and let them grow quiet, and light, and far away. For you are a small thing, yes, but a small thing woven into something immense and beautiful, and that is a very different matter from being small and alone. You are not a stray speck in an empty void. You are a cherished part of a living, turning, luminous whole, made of its light, warmed by its fires, belonging to it as wholly as a single wave belongs to the whole wide sea. Your smallness does not cut you off from the universe. It folds you into it. It makes you a part of the vastness, rather than a stranger staring in at it from outside. And there is nothing to fear in being a small and gentle part of something so grand. There is only the deep quiet comfort of belonging, of being held, of resting in your rightful small place within a cosmos far larger and far kinder than any trouble the day could bring. So let your smallness be a comfort to you now, and not a fear. Let it lighten you. Let it lift the weight of the day from your shoulders and carry it off into the vast indifferent dark, where it grows small, and dim, and harmless, and disappears among the stars. You do not have to be large tonight. You do not have to be strong, or important, or anything at all but small, and soft, and sleepy, a tiny warm life resting quietly beneath an enormous and gentle sky. That is enough. That is more than enough. That is, in fact, exactly what you are meant to be, tonight, and it is a lovely thing to be. And there is a deeper comfort still, hidden inside this long story of endings. For everything that will one day fade was, first, allowed to be. The stars that will go out are shining now. The galaxies that will drift apart are wheeling now, bright and full, across the dark. The matter that will one day dissolve is gathered, tonight, into worlds and seas and living things, into trees and creatures and the warm and breathing shape of you, lying here in the quiet. Nothing lasts forever. But everything, first, gets its turn to be. And the universe, for all that it is slowly winding down, is not a place of loss. It is a place of astonishing, temporary, precious abundance, where for a long bright while there are stars, and worlds, and warmth, and minds to marvel at it all. You are one of those minds. Awake, and aware, in the age of light. And the fact that it will not last forever does not make it less. It makes it more. And here, perhaps, is the most wonderful thing of all, the thing most worth carrying gently down into sleep. For the universe, in you, has done something almost unthinkable. It has woken up. It has come, in you, and in every wondering mind, to know itself. Think of it, softly. For nearly all of its history, and across nearly all of its vastness, the universe has been unwitnessed. The first stars kindled and blazed and died with no eye to see them. Galaxies wheeled through the dark for billions of years with no one to marvel at their turning. Whole ages of fire and beauty unfolded in perfect solitude, seen by nothing, known by nothing, a cosmos of staggering grandeur pouring itself out into an empty dark, with no one there at all. The universe was, for the longest time, a magnificence without an audience. A song with no one to hear it. And then, on at least one small world, out of the same star-forged atoms as everything else, something gathered itself together that could look up. That could see. That could wonder. After billions of years of turning in the dark, the universe grew, in us, a pair of eyes, and a mind to sit behind them, and for the first time it could behold itself. When you look up at the stars, it is not truly something separate gazing out at something else. It is the cosmos, turning gently, to look at its own face. The atoms of the universe, arranged for a little while into you, contemplating the vast dark hole from which they came. You are the part of the universe that can ask what the universe is. You are how the cosmos comes to know that it exists at all. That is not a small thing, tucked away on one minor world around one ordinary star. It may be the rarest and most precious thing there is. In all the vast and lovely dark, in all the trillions of turning years, a universe that can behold itself is a wonder beyond any nebula, beyond any galaxy, beyond the grandest black hole or the brightest exploding star. And you are that wonder. Lying here, in the quiet, drifting toward sleep, you are the universe, briefly awake, knowing for a moment that it is here, that it is vast, that it is beautiful, and that it will not last forever. A single warm point of awareness, in an ocean of unwitnessing dark. That is what you are. And so, when at last the far future comes, and the stars go out, and the long dark settles in, something will be lost that is more precious even than the light. The seeing will be lost. The wondering. Unless, somehow, in all those ages, mind finds a way to endure, to carry the flame of awareness forward into the dark, there may come a time when the universe forgets itself again. When there are no more eyes to look up, no more minds to marvel, and the cosmos returns to the long unwitnessed solitude from which it briefly woke. And so the light we live in is doubly precious. For it is not only the age of stars. It is the age of seeing. The brief, bright morning when the universe, for a little while, is awake to its own wonder. And you are here for it. You are part of it. You are the universe, keeping watch over itself, on a quiet night, near the beginning of everything. Let that be a warmth to carry with you now, down toward sleep. You are not a stranger in the cosmos, a small and frightened thing adrift in an indifferent dark. You are the cosmos itself, grown briefly aware, come home to itself in the shape of a single resting mind. You belong here as completely as the stars do, for you are made of the very same light, and you are doing the one thing the stars themselves can never do. You are knowing. You are wondering. You are here. And even when you sleep, even as your own awareness softens and dims and drifts down into the dark of rest, you remain a part of that great slow waking, a small warm ember of the universe knowing itself, banked gently for the night, to glow again with the morning. So do not carry the cold of the far future into your rest tonight. That cold is real, but it is unthinkably distant, and between here and there lies everything. Trillions of years of starlight still to come. Countless worlds still to turn beneath their suns. More sunrises, on more planets, than there are grains of sand on all the shores of the earth. The universe is not in a hurry to end. It has all the time there is, and it is spending it slowly, gently, generously, in light and warmth and turning. And you are here for the beginning of it. For the brightest, warmest, most luminous chapter of the whole long tale. Let that be the thought you rest upon now, as the journey draws toward its close. Not the darkness at the end of time, but the light at the beginning, the light we live in, the light that is falling on you even now from a sky still full of ancient fire. You are a child of the cosmic dawn, made of the first light, warmed by a living star, awake in the great bright morning of the universe. And there is nothing to fear in the long night that lies so very far ahead, for it is only the same rest that is coming, softly, for you tonight. The same gentle settling into quiet. The same drawing down of the fires, and closing of the eyes, and letting go, at last, into peace. And now, as we turn back from the end of time, let the great journey we have taken begin, gently, to fade. Let the ages loosen their hold on you. Let the far future grow dim and distant, the way a dream grows dim upon waking, until there is nothing left of it but a soft and lingering sense of wonder, and the slow, warm pull of sleep. You have traveled so far tonight. Further than any traveler has ever gone. Out past the death of the sun, and the drifting of the galaxies, and the fading of the last red stars. Through the long quiet of the dead star ages, and the slow dissolving of matter, and the endless patient night of the black holes, all the way to the final, gentle stillness at the end of everything. And now you can set it all down. There is nothing more to see. Nowhere further to go. You have followed the universe to its rest, and now you may follow yourself to yours. So let your body grow heavy and still. Let the bed beneath you hold all of your weight, so that you have nothing left to hold at all. Feel how your breath has already begun to slow, softening, deepening, each one a little quieter than the last. There is nothing you need to do to make sleep come. You have only to lie here and let it, the way the universe does not force its own long rest, but simply allows it, gently, as the fires burn down of their own accord. Let the great numbers fade. All those trillions of years, all those ages beyond ages, let them dissolve now into a soft and formless quiet. You do not need to carry them. They were only a story, a long and gentle story told to carry you down toward sleep, and now the story is nearly over, and you can let even the memory of it grow dim. There is no far future here. There is no cold, and no dark, and no ending. There is only this room, and this bed, and this slow and easy breath, and the warm and living present moment, holding you softly, as it always has. Feel the warmth of your own body, here, now. The quiet miracle of it. You are made of the ashes of ancient stars, gathered together, for a little while, into something that can breathe, and rest, and dream. The very atoms of you were forged in the hearts of suns that died long ago, and scattered across the dark, and drawn together again, here, into you. You are starlight, grown warm, and slow, and sleepy. A small piece of the universe, at rest within itself. And the same gentle quiet that waits at the end of all things is waiting, tonight, only to give you sleep. Let your feet grow heavy, and your legs. Let the warmth spread slowly up through you, loosening everything it touches. Let your hands lie still, and your arms grow soft, and your shoulders sink down, at last, releasing all that they have carried through the day. Let your breath move gently in, and gently out, without any effort at all, like a slow tide on a quiet shore, coming in, and going out, and asking nothing of you. And if any last thoughts still drift through your mind, let them drift, the way the galaxies drift, slowly, softly, apart, growing dimmer and more distant with every passing moment, until they slip at last over the horizon of sleep and are gone. You do not need to follow them. You do not need to hold them. Let them go, one by one, like stars going quietly out, until the sky of your mind is dark, and calm, and still, and there is nothing left but the deep and gentle quiet, and the slow warm rhythm of your breathing. There is nowhere you need to be tonight but here. Nothing you need to do but rest. The universe will go on turning without you, slowly, patiently, all through the night, tending its stars, drifting its galaxies, spending its long ages of light exactly as it always has, and it asks nothing of you at all. You can set down the whole vast weight of it, and simply sleep. The stars do not need you to watch them. The future does not need you to worry it into being. It will all unfold, in its own slow and gentle time, whether you are awake or asleep. So you may let go of everything, completely, and sink into the soft dark, and rest. Let each breath carry you a little deeper now. A little further from the day. A little closer to the warm and formless quiet where sleep is waiting. There is no hurry. You have all the time you need. Down, and softly down, like an ember cooling, like a tide going out, like a star settling slowly into the long calm of its rest. Notice, if you like, how the breath moves on its own now, without any effort from you at all. In and out. Slow and soft. You do not have to breathe. It breathes itself, gently, the way the tides rise and fall without being told, the way the galaxies turn without being pushed. And with each slow breath out, let a little more of the day dissolve. Let a little more weight lift from you. Let yourself grow a little lighter, a little softer, a little more willing to let go. Imagine, if it pleases you, that you are drifting now, gently, out among the stars. Not falling. Not flying. Just drifting, weightless and warm, through the soft dark, with the stars turning slowly all around you, near and far, in every direction, a whole sky of gentle light, cradling you as you float. There is no cold out here, in this imagining. Only warmth, and quiet, and the slow soft drift, and the stars keeping their patient watch. You are held by the whole universe at once, carried on its slow currents, rocked gently by the turning of the ages, safe in the great dark cradle of everything. Let yourself drift there a while. Past the slow red glow of dying suns. Past the quiet wheels of distant galaxies, turning so slowly they seem not to move at all. Past the soft glowing clouds where new stars are being born, lit from within like lanterns in a mist. There is nowhere you need to go, and nothing you need to reach. Only the drifting. Only the quiet. Only the slow warm float through the endless gentle dark, growing sleepier, and softer, and further away, with every slow and easy breath. And if a worry rises, or a thought from the day comes drifting back, do not fight it, and do not follow it. Just let it pass by, the way a distant star drifts slowly past as you float, coming near, and growing bright, and then falling gently behind you, into the dark, and gone. You do not have to hold it. You do not have to answer it. Let it drift on past, and grow small, and vanish, while you go on floating, softly, through the quiet, towards sleep. There is no hurry here. There is no end you must reach, no place you must arrive. There is only this slow warm drifting, this gentle breathing, this soft sinking down, deeper and deeper, into rest. The whole vast patient universe is in no hurry at all, and neither are you. You have all the time there is. So let go a little more. Sink a little deeper. Drift a little further into the warm and gentle dark. There is no hurry. You have all the time you need. Down, and softly down, like an ember cooling, like a tide going out, like a star settling slowly into the long calm of its rest. Feel how safe you are. How small, and how held. A single warm and living spark, wrapped in the great gentle dark, in a universe far older and far kinder than any fear the day could hold. The same dark that fills the space between the stars is filling this room now, softly, and it means you no harm. It is only the quiet. Only the rest. Only the deep and peaceful stillness that holds all things, in the end, and holds you now, gently, as you drift. And so let yourself grow heavier now, and softer, and more still. Let the last of the day's tension melt away from you, from your forehead, from your jaw, from the small tight places around your eyes. Let your face grow soft and smooth and peaceful. Let your neck release, and your shoulders sink, and your chest rise and fall in slow, easy waves. There is nothing holding you here now but the warm and gentle dark, and it holds you softly, and it will not let you fall. Let your thoughts grow slow, and few, and far between, like the last stars appearing in an evening sky. And in the spaces between them, let there be only quiet. Only the soft dark. Only the slow warm rhythm of your breathing, carrying you gently down. You do not need to make sense of anything now. You do not need to remember, or plan, or understand. The whole long story of the universe will keep, safe and whole, until the morning. And tonight, you may simply set it down, and rest. Feel the bed beneath you, holding you completely. Feel how you no longer need to hold yourself up at all, how you can give all your weight over to the softness beneath you, and let it carry you, the way space carries the drifting stars, effortlessly, endlessly, asking nothing in return. There is such relief in that letting go. Such deep and simple peace in laying down the whole weight of yourself, and being held, and needing to do nothing at all. And as you drift here, softly, let the great calm of the cosmos settle over you like a blanket of stars. The same slow patience that carries the universe across its billions of quiet years is carrying you, now, gently, through this one small night. The same deep stillness that waits at the end of time is here with you, in this room, in this dark, a soft and gentle foretaste of rest. You are part of it all. Made of its light. Warmed by its fires. Held in its long slow turning. And you may rest within it as easily and as trustingly as a small child rests in the arms of someone who loves them, knowing that you are safe, and held, and home. There is nowhere else you need to be. There is nothing else you need to do. The universe is unfolding exactly as it should, slowly, patiently, beautifully, all around you and all through you, and it needs nothing from you tonight but this: that you rest, that you let go, that you sink down, softly, into the warm dark quiet, and sleep. The journey is over. The universe is at peace, far away at the end of time, and you are at peace, here, now, in the warm dark of this quiet night. There is nothing left to think about. Nothing left to do. Only to breathe, and to soften, and to sink, slowly, into sleep. Let go now. Let the last of your waking thoughts dissolve, like the last faint light at the end of the universe, spreading out, and thinning, and fading, gently, into a calm and endless dark. There is no edge here, and no ending, and no fear. Only the soft and boundless quiet, and your own slow breathing, carrying you down, wave by gentle wave, into the deep. Rest now. Sleep now. And let the quiet universe turn slowly around you, tending its long, bright morning, while you sleep through the warm and peaceful night. This has been Hypnos Cosmos. Rest well, and drift among the stars again, tomorrow night.